Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm just waiting for. Okay, I think I'm live. Okay, I was just waiting for our guest. So let's wait for a few minutes. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, do let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I'll definitely answer them. Okay, so yes, Piyush is also with us now. Hey Piyush, welcome to my channel. And I think yes, now we are streaming live and all set. Just introduce about yourself to the audience, and I think yeah, let's get started with that first.
Uh, Thank you. Sure. Thank you very much, Sandeep, for giving me this opportunity and reaching out to me for this wonderful session. I am really excited about it. Hi guys, my name is Piyush Sachdeva. I am working as a technical solution developer with Google Canada. So it's basically a cloud engineer role that I'm part of, and my specialization is GKE and Anthos. Plus, I work on logging, monitoring, alerting, and other DevOps tools as well within GCP. So I recently joined Google like around 9-10 months back. Before that, also I was working as a cloud engineer with Cognizant, and before that, I had some like 5-6 years of experience working as a DevOps engineer. So yeah, that's pretty much it about
Yes,
myself.
I mean truly a awesome experience, varied experience. I mean, you work in the DevOps, you work in a cloud, varied role.
Yeah,
So
I mean, before that, like when I started my career, I started it as a production support engineer. So like 4 or 5 years I worked as a production support, or application support, and then I moved to DevOps, then DevOps cloud. So you know how DevOps and cloud, they work hand in hand. So
yes,
now like most of my job responsibilities are cloud, but some portion of it still DevOps, and it'll always be.
yes, and that's the beauty of it. There is, I mean, I say a few months back, there is no DevOps without cloud, and there is no cloud without DevOps.
Yeah,
Both are tightly
exactly.
integrated.
Yeah.
And just we are speaking about it. So, what are the skills right now anyone will need to thrive in the current DevOps market or cloud market in general?
Okay, yeah, sure. So there are, first of all, if you are, looking job as a DevOps or cloud, so make sure you take this as a, complete skill set, like DevOps and cloud all together. Whenever you see a job description of a DevOps role, you would see cloud in that, like as a required specification. And if you see a cloud role, you will see DevOps, CI/CD, or agile methodologies, all those things. So they are tightly integrated with each other. So make sure whatever role you are applying for, you have enough skill set for both, combination of DevOps and cloud. So for me, like multiple things worked out for me. Or I would say I would rather start with what I think would be the roadmap for cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer nowadays. So basically, you start with Linux administration. In and out of Linux operating system, how operating system works. Deadlocks, semaphores, operating system processes, all those things. Then how networking work in cloud or DevOps, it doesn't matter. Like concept will always be the same. Like firewall will always be the firewall, and security groups, all those things. Like how do you trace the TCP packages, OSI model, so all the basic networking infrastructure concepts. So those should be clear. So like when we used to study as part of our bachelor of engineering or any other graduation that we are coming from, so there is a subject called data structure, sorry, data communication and networking, DCN. So all the concepts in that particular subject, it's really important, and they are the most underrated concepts, so which we overlooked most of the times. Like we think this is pretty basic and we don't want to cover it, but that is really important if you are applying for a job nowadays, right? Then if you are working in cloud, so make sure you have proficiency in at least one of these clouds like AWS, Azure, GCP. Doesn't matter which cloud you choose, just make sure you have proficiency in each of these clouds. Certifications are important but not mandatory to have. Like I always say this, certifications are a way to validate your skill sets, and also you will get a learning path when you start working on any certification. So that's why certification is a good to have but not mandatory to have. Then uh, apart from that, you should have a good knowledge of CI/CD concept. Doesn't matter which tool you choose, like whether it is Jenkins, GitLab, Argo CD, or Azure DevOps, anything would work. It just make sure you have proficiency in at least one of those tools. Plus, in and out of CI/CD, what it is and how does it work. you know Along with that, cloud monitoring, logging, Prometheus, all these amazing tools we have. Most of them are open source, so you can just stood up a local server in your lab environment and get your hands dirty with it. Then scripting knowledge in at least one or more programming languages. Bash is pretty basic, then Python is always recommended. And along with that, you can like Golang is getting
Yes.
popular these days as well when it comes to DevOps or cloud. So yeah, I guess these are the pretty basic things that we should know in and out of before we start applying for a job, and before we start getting into the job market.
And just so that we are speaking about skill set, uh, like can you, I mean, as per as I'm observing different side about the requirements, how
Yep,
much
yep.
impact one should have with say such tools called say infra as a code, say Terraform, or say in Google, I think I forgot the what is the name for the Google part, but AWS they
Yeah,
have
it's
cloud formation.
deployment manager. It's
Yeah,
deployment
yeah,
manager for
Google Deployment Manager, right? So, and there is of course Ansible also there for the configuration management. So, how much impact this tool carry? I mean, in a day-to-day job, can you just say
Yes, this
whatever?
is also, like, I forgot to mention this part as well. Like, yeah, this is also a core responsibility. So when I recently started working, not in Google, before that, when I working with Cognizant, and so my main responsibilities was automating the infrastructure using Terraform in in Azure, and then working on CI/CD using Azure DevOps. So yes, it is a definite part of your job, and it is really important skill to have. uh, so make sure you do at, so like there are like three clouds, so each of them has their own infrastructure as a code service, right? We have ARM templates, which is now being replaced by Bicep. Then we have Google Deployment Manager, AWS Cloud Formation. So you don't have to know all three of those, but make sure you know at least one which works with everything. So Terraform, right? So if you know Terraform, you know how it works with AWS, Azure, or GCP. So Terraform is really important, and it's pretty easy to learn as well. There is not such a deep learning curve around it. You would just again, you can follow the certification path of Terraform certification, and stood up a live environment, a three-tier architecture in the preferred cloud of your choice, and you can test it in and out. So it's pretty easy to learn, and it is really a crucial skill these days.
Exactly. And in different interviews, actually, if you, I mean, you already gone through all the spaces. They ask, ask about the live coding. So, what you will suggest for anyone to prepare for those kind of interview situations? Because people ask me, sir, how to prepare? How to prepare? So, what will suggest them? Like how to prepare for those kind of exams? I mean, not exams, interviews.
Yeah, I guess for that, make sure you do enough practice. So
Yes.
whatever you do, like whatever you do as part of your learning, whatever you do as part of your hands-on exercises, make sure you automate all those things using the programming language that you are comfortable with or that you are trying to learn. For example, let's say you are trying to learn AWS. So first you understand what AWS is, how it works, what all the services are there, basics of it. Then you try to stood up a infrastructure, a three-tier web application in AWS manually from console. try to do it with AWS CLI, then try to do the same with Terraform, right? And then when you do everything, then use AWS CDK kit to automate it using Python. So in that way, you can just pick up one use case and everything will be covered with it. Your infrastructure as a code, your cloud, your automation, and your programming knowledge, your CI/CD. So everything will be covered in one use case. So in that way, you can implement multiple use cases, multiple personal projects, and learn all those tools and technologies.
Exactly. And now, people actually, what happens in these days. People learn one particular tool and expect that it will gonna work out. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think how much you emphasize that it's a things of like multiple things work together, right?
yeah,
Say about
yep,
say cloud and
definitely.
like cloud and
Ye-
DevOps.
yeah.
So what do you say about that to people like who are just only focusing on one particular tool?
So actually nowadays the market is so competitive. You cannot survive with just one tool or even one cloud provider. So I started with AWS, but when I go out to look for a job, let's say there are 60 companies, let's say there are 100 companies that are working in cloud area, 60 companies are working in AWS. So I only have that 60 companies to apply for, right? But when I broaden my horizon a little bit, I start learning Azure, there are 20 more companies open for me. So now I have that room, 80 companies that I could apply from and to choose from. When I learn GCP, there will be 100 companies for me that I could apply for. So and because getting when you apply for a job, you don't get every job that you apply for, right? So there
Yes.
are, let's say, 10% pass rate. You apply for 100 companies and you get offer from 10 of those, let's say, like on a very
This is a high standard. I mean, I
s-
expect even less than
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
No matter
On a very
experience.
good case
Yes.
scenario, let's say you apply for 100 companies and you get selected in 3 of those, right? So
Exactly.
but if you are but you have if you are only applying for 60 companies, out of them you would only get maybe one or even no job offer. So make sure you are ready for what's coming in the market, what's there in the market, and you stand out from the crowd. How would you stand out from the crowd? To do these things. Like there would be hundreds of professionals in the market who are looking for AWS kind of jobs, right? But if you have AWS and Azure experience, it will be an added advantage of you. If you add GCP on top of it, you have worked with all three clouds, so you would stand out from the crowd, right? It'll be easier for you to get your job in the market or get your resume shortlisted in the market. And that's what happened with me. Like, this is my personal experience, I'm not saying that from some
Actually.
blog or from something else. I started with AWS, I learned AWS, but then I didn't get a job in AWS. So in my current role, I started learning Azure as well. I did 3 4 5 6 certification in Azure, and then I got job uh, in Cognizant as a Azure
Yes.
cloud engineer. Okay, now I had experience for both AWS and Azure. Then I got job in Google in GCP, and in GCP
Yes.
I never worked before. So because the underlying infrastructure is same, the concept of cloud
Yeah.
is same, but if you know more than one cloud, it will be easier for the employer to validate your skill sets based on what you already know. So if you know two clouds, then employer will say, okay, so because he already has this much of knowledge, it will be easier for him to learn a third cloud as well. There would be no issues, right? So yeah, it is, like I said, it is really important to stand out from the crowd and do things that people are reluctant to do, or they think, okay, I'm just gonna stick to one cloud, or I'm just gonna stick to one programming language, or
Yeah.
one tool. So it's never gonna work out, because the tool that are hot in the market today, it would be gone in next couple of years.
Yes.
So you make sure you
Exactly.
keep validating your skill set,
Yeah.
keep updating yourself, keep yourself up to date to the market. So that's how we roll.
I think now everyone should understand with your examples why multi-cloud is not just important, it's necessary to have, and
Yeah, yeah,
why you
definitely.
should learn multiple programming. See, in my experience, I'm just saying, like I just a few years back, I was working in PHP. Then after that, because the market it was not that great at that
Yeah,
moment, I
yeah,
had to learn JavaScript. And after that,
yeah,
when I saw that there's a lot of people come to JavaScript, the JavaScript demand, there is demand, but there's
yeah.
more than enough supply to the market. What
Yes, yes,
happens? You get
exactly.
less salary. I go to
Yeah.
Python, same happening to Python. I go go with the Golang. So that's how I keep myself very high package in the market.
Yeah, that
I think
that's how we keep going. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
That's correct. Yeah. I
and yeah,
totally agree with you. It's really an ongoing story, and it's with everything. Whether you take a tool, a programming language, a cloud provider, anything. So it's a never-ending process. It's keep going on and on.
and that's I totally agree with. And I think the viewers who are watching should mind that why multi-cloud is important, not just important anymore. I'm saying it's necessary to have. With the horizon it open for you, a lot of companies you can apply for. You have much more chances of getting job in this market where everyone getting laid off for no reason or any reason at all. So you should have more
Yeah,
skills at your hand to get more choices in different organization and all.
exactly.
So that is important. Now, uh, uh, hey, one thing is there. Guru saying not everyone is Piyush and Sandeep. But what do you, we understand that. But what do we want to bring here that we started from nothing, right? We are no one. We started normally. We started learning. We started applying the knowledge. We are in a position that we are proud of, and anyone want to be in a position they can try it out. I mean, everyone have the capability to do that. Just bit more focus because it's not easy for you. It's not easy for me. But still, we keep learning. We keep applying, and that happen. Like even now, we face
So,
challenges.
so
Yeah.
yeah, there is one more. Let me share one more example. So everyone has their own weaknesses and everyone has their own strength. But let's say, okay, I'll take my example. Uh, I don't have a much of coding experience, uh, so and I'm not really good at it. Uh, I'm saying this in front of the live audience, but this is the reality. But then I would have to get a job, a decent job. I would have to, keep myself up to date to the market. So how would I do that? Like, because I don't have time to learn coding, or I don't have maybe patience or that excitement to learn coding. I don't really focus on that much. So what I do, I focuses all those powers in the area of cloud and DevOps. So this is the thing that I could focus on. This is the thing that I could learn and excel. And when you gain strength on few things, certain areas, then your limitations, your weaknesses, it just fades away with the time. Now no one ask me whether I am proficient in coding or what coding language I'm good at, because I have created a niche for myself. So if you are good in coding, if you are good in something, so make sure you attain the excellence proficiency in that thing, in that area, and create a niche out of it, so that you don't go out of job, or you never have to struggle finding a new job in the market.
Exactly. And while the market is like the demand is bit under the bridge and there is a lot of competition. So having a skills expertise, I will say the expertise you have, that have its
Yeah,
own value. So yeah, have the general knowledges at the same time. Like for us, it's cloud and DevOps. So if it's
yeah,
for your programming, then have an expertise in programming. If it's for your
yeah,
database, then have that expertise. So wherever area you
yeah.
are,
Whatever
make
whatever
sure.
works
Yeah.
out for you, whatever
Yeah.
works out for you. Yeah,
Okay, and that's a very interesting things to go on. Now, I think one question everyone asks: how did I mean? Let's go like the main topic. Like, how did you join the AWS Community Builder? And there are like millions of people try. I thought
yeah,
think so, like lakhs of people. I don't know how lakhs and million and all that calculations, but I think lakhs of people try, as far as I know, and only few get selected as the AWS Community Builder. So, how do you become an AWS Community Builder? Like many are
yeah.
interested to know
For
that.
me, it was when I started creating these YouTube videos on uh, yeah, YouTube videos and sharing it on LinkedIn, and then I started creating some blogs. So it started creating impact. I was getting some feedback, some good feedback, and when I applied using those videos, and when you apply for the job, sorry, when you apply for the community builder application, it asks you, provide the link of your latest publication, your content and everything, and how many views it got in last 30 days or 60 days. So based on that, the performance of my video at that time, maybe they thought it was valuable enough for me to be added as a community builder. And recently, because I haven't worked with AWS in a really long time, so nowadays I am focusing on either Azure or GCP as part of the content creation. So I haven't created much video in past 10 8 months on AWS. But even then, my application got renewed for second year because it asks you for the last 1 year publications.
Okay.
So I had some videos in
Yes.
during that time frame. So
Okay.
yeah,
That,
that's
that's
why.
good to know. And now one another very interesting one. Like you are now working in Canada. You are in US. I think that's a very interesting story you are telling. So how you, like from India, how, like it's a long story. It okay to keep it long, no problem. We have enough time. So how from India you got an opportunity in Canada, and how things are there? How is
Okay,
your
so
life?
it was, yeah. So my the opportunity, it was not provided to me. It was something that I took a chance, and then I like took a risk up around it. So I was working with Amdocs Pune, okay, as a level 3 support engineer. Then I got to know about this express entry program that Canada was having. So I applied through it. I gave my IELTS. My wife also gave, and we got our score selected, and got the invitation to apply. We applied it. I came here, but I didn't have any job, right? So I came here, I looked for the job, and I struggled for like around 17 days. On 17th day, I got my first job as a production support. I was not really specific about getting a job in DevOps or cloud at that time, because I was just looking for a survival job.
Yes.
I had to pay my bills. I had to, give my rent, and make my expensive all the bills. So I just needed to make sure that I have something in my hand for my survival. So I got job as a production support engineer with Citibank Canada. I started working there. And while I was working there, there was, because I get the survival job, I got the basic, requirement of a human body: food, clothing, shelter. Right now, the next thing was in mind: how do I move to DevOps now? I got a survival job. Now, how do I get a job that I want, that I need, and that is required? Right. So I started learning DevOps again. I brushed up my skill. I did some Udemy courses on Jenkins. I created some personal projects on CI/CD, and then I started applying for a job, and then I got job as a DevOps engineer in CIBC Bank. I worked there for around 9 months on contract. Then, because of my performance, I got promoted as a DevOps tech lead. So my role was converted to full time, and I got the promotion as well. So then I handled a team of 5 6 guys, 5 6 DevOps engineers. I implemented a lot in Azure DevOps CI/CD. So again, Azure DevOps was new to me at that time. I was given the opportunity, and I took it. I took it with grace, and I'm glad I did. I got to learn a lot of things because I had to implement it from scratch, right? So I did that, and okay, yeah. So you were asking my Canada journey. So that's how I moved to Canada. Yeah. So it was,
Yes. Yes.
a risk that I took, and I set some initial timelines for me. Like, I got the job in 17 days, but I felt myself lucky and fortunate that I got it. But God forbid if anything would have gone wrong, and like nothing as planned, I would have gone back. So I gave myself 2 3 months of time. Like, if I don't get the job in 2 3 months, I will go back and start looking for a job in India. Because when you don't have a job in a foreign country, there are a lot of expenses
Yes.
that you have to take care of, and there isn't any income because you are just struggling. You are looking for a job. It is really hard to pay those expenses. So
Agree.
you know so that's how, so that's my journey was all about.
But your all hard work actually paid off, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I
I think
I
and the things work out. I mean, you take chance, you took risk. I mean, not, I mean,
Yep.
everything has a risk, and your journey just show the how risky it was, the move, and that worked out, like a bit, with challenges, but worked out well your life. You are,
Yeah, yeah.
you're working for a Google now, a bank company, like
Yeah,
everyone's dream,
yeah.
right?
So that's what I'm saying, because I did hard work. So, and I was fortunate enough that things started falling in its place. So nothing happened in a day or two, in a year or two. And I'll also, so if we have some time, I'll also
Yeah,
tell you about my Google journey.
yes,
So
definitely.
yeah, like I said, when I'm working as a production support engineer with Citibank here in Canada, I started applying for jobs, and I starting looking for jobs as a DevOps or a cloud engineer. I started applying for AWS, like in AWS as well, Amazon Canada. Then I got a lot of rejections. There was a time when I was completed with all the interview rounds. There were around 5 interviews back to back in a day, and at the end of the interview, after a couple of days, I was told that I was not selected. It happened a lot. Around 6 7 times I was rejected from Amazon after the interview. Like, I'm not saying my application was rejected, after the giving the interview. And it was so many different roles that I have given interview for. It was solution architect, cloud engineer, cloud consultant, then DevOps engineer, senior DevOps engineer, technical account manager, cloud technical account manager, software support engineer. There were a lot of roles that I was rejected from, but I had to keep going. I never gave up, right? I was still trying. And then one day, because all of those rejections that I had gone through, and all the learnings that I got out of it, it really helps me get into Google. Because, like, all my lesson learned, all the things that I didn't know during those interviews, I worked on those skills and make myself ready for the Google. So that's why I got the job in.
Oh, that's a truly great journey, to be honest. I mean, different. I mean, different mini live session. In just even if I meet with many people, I say one thing: keep giving interviews. You get the
Yep.
questions, you get the experience, and one day that will add up and help you break into a job. That's. I
Yep.
mean, your story is the pure good example for everyone watching this and going through their hard phases. I know many are going through
Yeah,
right
I know
now.
it is really hard to keep applying for the same company when you are getting rejected every time. But then again, like, after giving every interview, I was, there was something that was new to me in that interview, and it was exciting me. Like, okay, this is how it works. So let me explore a bit about it, because I don't know this. Let me work on this skill. Let me work on that. So that helped me being a better professional that I am today, and it really helped a lot. Had it been the case where I was accepted for the first time, I was still working on those skills today, because I didn't know like these existed, or these are the things that I need to work on, right? So yeah, like, rejections are never really rejections. They are learning lessons. They are
Yes.
the most valuable learning lessons that anyone could get.
Exactly, and I'm completely agree with you on that. That's how you build your repo, and you ultimately got in a position that you always
Yeah.
wanted to be. And I think you're still improving your
Yeah.
skills, like in your different videos. I also
Yeah,
watch them.
I'm
And
that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Actually, the reason why I started my YouTube channel is, there are actually two things. One is, I three things actually. I wanted to share my knowledge with everyone. I wanted to retain the knowledge that I gain, to revisit anytime in the future. Because many things happen. You learn something, and then after few days, if you don't work on it, you forget it easily.
Exactly.
So there has to be some sort of artifact, some sort of record that you could revisit later, and brush up your skills again. So that was the second thing. Third thing was, I wanted to gain the extensive knowledge on few areas, right? So, but when you create a video, you have to do all of your research, all your hands on, like, in depth knowledge. You gain the in depth knowledge about it. So this YouTube journey that I started, it was all around my learning. And then at the end, it was really helpful sharing knowledge with others, with the community, and it was helping other, so that kept me going.
Yeah. That's true, and that brings one question. It is Jaimit saying that what is the role of community in your career growth? Community not always take its give back. Any more insight on this? Like, what is the role of community in your career growth? That's, I think, that's question.
Yeah, so as I said, like community, when we work together, we share knowledge with each other, it helps both the parties, right? It's a win-win situation. If I'm sharing my knowledge with someone, so not only the other person is getting benefited from it, I'm also getting benefited because I have been given this chance to enhance my knowledge. Knowledge is the only wealth that increases when you share it with someone,
Yes.
right? So when I started learning, there were okay. So one more thing, one more. I have this perfect example with me. When I came to Canada looking for a job, I was looking for production support engineer role. So I had um I met a guy from India as well who was in the same boat as me. He was looking for a job. He came from India after leaving his job. So I was, we were doing the studies together. From we our day starts at 6 and end at 2 or 3 a.m. in the night, and we were whole day we were just discussing all those things that we need to work on, like how do we work on. He was teaching me something, I was teaching him something. It was, so there was a small community that we were building in that room, but that community helped both of us get the job, right? Because there were some things that I was good at and something that he was good at, but when we combined those together, we both were good at both the things, right? So yeah, community plays a really important role. You share your knowledge with each other, you help each other in difficult times, and that's how people will remember you always, like when you help them in the time of their need. I'm not sure if I answered the question, but this is
You
my take
answer
on
in
that.
a perfect way with proper example. I mean, I could have might not have given that one. I have other story to tell, but your story another very practical one, which one should follow on. So while talking with all the experience and all, right now, do you meet with your like anyone directly meet? Like I think you go to different community events, something in happening here and there.
Actually, in Canada, there are not a lot of
Uh,
community events happen, but I have been to this AWS Summit like a couple of months back. There was, and because of the COVID, everything was stopped. There was only virtual. So yeah, so this was the only event I went to, and I met Andrew Brown over there. So I'm not
oh.
sure if you know about him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know Andrew. Who don't know Andrew?
Yeah. Yeah,
Andrew is
yeah,
also
so
everyone.
I met him. I because I went there little early, so there were not a lot of people around him, and I got a chance to had a discussion with him. So we were talking around 1 hour, and then then because there were a lot of people coming and going, so
Yeah.
then I take a goodbye from him. But it was really a good session with him, and he shared a lot of knowledge. He shared his wealth, wisdom, everything with me, and I'm really thankful that I had a chance to meet with him
Yeah.
in person.
Yes. Andrew is a great guy. No worries on that. Say one thing is Dheeraj asking, like, did you become part of AWS Group Canada or some other community?
No, 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 not yet. No,
Yeah, I think
I
we should.
was, I was trying. Actually, it was in my to-do list, but I never got the chance to do that because these community events happen during the weekends,
Yes.
and most of the times during the weekend I spend time with my daughter. So
Uh,
I,
I think I can feel it.
then
Don't worry. Don't worry.
yeah,
I have also a little daughter, and I know what it means to
yeah,
be with your
yeah.
daughter. Same
So
here.
so that's why I am not been part of any community groups
Yes.
in Canada, but yeah,
You
I
want
mean
to.
maybe in future, or I'm trying to attend something that is not over the weekend, over the somewhere around in non-working hours, in weekdays. I'll have a look around.
And suppose anyone, it's like anyone want to, and this will be last question. I think not much question today, so it will be last question. anyone want to grow up their career, okay, like want to become the best, like get a very great job, what factor or what are the not technical but soft skills, because everyone talk about the technical, but there are importance of soft skills. So what are the soft skills one should have? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. It's not the technical
Yeah.
programming and all that. What are the soft skills very important to achieve those levels?
Uh, I would say, the most important thing, and that really helped me a lot, is, willingness to help others. You know, that's the first thing. When people reach out to me over LinkedIn, there are a lot of people reach out to me, right? And I guess for you it will be 10 times more than that, maybe 20 times more than that. So
Fun,
I
fun
try
fact.
my best.
Fun fact. One person
Yes.
today came. I mean, I'm starting the offline and online courses. So one person came, and we had a long talk from morning to just before the noon time. And like
uh,
sometimes I do communicate people, do talk with people, and that's
yeah.
that's bring another level joy. And not just that, he helped me lay out the course material. Like
Oh, that's amazing.
like
So yeah,
I mean,
see, that's what I was talking about.
yeah,
It's a two-way street. We help
yes,
each other. And
right,
so yeah, so that's what I was saying, that yeah, so this is, I guess, the most important soft skill that everyone should have: willingness to help other. And I try my best to answer each of those queries that I get. Sometimes it becomes really annoying as well,
yes.
but then I try to calmly respond. Annoying as in the sense, because people say, I need to get a job, help me get a job, like,
I understand.
without any context, without
No
any,
context at all.
without giving any
Yeah,
background, or just refer me to your company. Like, I don't even know you, like, how do I refer you? But I
exactly.
cannot say this directly to a person, right? So
So
I
the
have to
reason,
be a little diplomatic about
right,
it.
and the reason being, it's not the sometimes it's not the users. I mean that his or her problem is just he do or she don't know how to ask a question. That's
Yeah, yeah,
another skill.
exactly.
It's another very
Yeah,
important
that's
skill.
another skill. Yeah.
Yes, to how ask a question. Because if I send someone a
Yes.
message and ask, like, it has the context, is that the value? It contains the value, so that one person reply as soon as he gets it. Like
Yeah.
otherwise, you said say hi or you say hello. Like why you say hi hello with hundreds of messages? If you say hi, why you
Yeah.
expect a reply from me, right? So one should have
Yeah.
enough context
Exactly.
so that we have the urge to reply. We have an urge to help if you give
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
context. So
Yes, definitely.
communication
So when you
skill
reach
has to be
out to
there.
someone, yeah, when you reach out to someone, introduce yourself, give a little background,
Yeah,
what you are, what you're trying to do, what help you need from the other person, and then start the conversation from there. Just
right.
don't just directly say anything about anything without any context. So that doesn't work at all.
And
So yeah,
another thing
that's
is,
really
right, and another thing is that suppose like anyone trying for interviews or getting positions, one should have enough like observation skill. Like there are a lot of soft skills, that observation, asking question. If you, I think you ask a lot of question, when if you go for interviews and all. I know
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of people do.
right.
So many people want to miss that. And like asking a lot of questions very important. Like even ask yourself, like what you're doing, why you're doing.
Yeah,
Like this kind of question doesn't need it.
yeah, yeah,
Why?
exactly. I mean, and that questions should not come at the time of interview. You should be preparing that beforehand. Like, when you go for an interview, you know which company you are going for, read the background, read about the job description, and just take notes about it, whatever queries you have. And at the end of the interview, or whenever interviewer asks you to put any doubt, if you have, you could just say them, these are the doubts that I have, and I wanted to get the clarification from you. So that's the way to go. And showing the enthusiasm during interview, showing how excited you
Yeah,
are joining the company, only comes when you ask a lot of questions. It's not
yeah,
just a one line, I'm really excited to be here and I don't have any question. It doesn't work like that. The other person should be aware about that. Yes, you have that eagerness to join, you have that excitement to know about the company's culture or the work, or about the role, about your teammates. All of those things that really constitute a lot of a factor in your joining process.
and that's the real truth. Everyone, I mean, not A lot of people miss the point. They just, and even not just like, these are the soft skills like asking questions, like communication skill, negotiation skill. Like if anyone say anything, like, you just don't agree with that. Ask for more. Ask for your skills. You should not lower yourself. If you don't have a benefit toward this, don't lower your value or cost to the company.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Those things also should learn to get to do, like, to reach a particular position in their life. I think you're already in a position to tell in a Google and
No, I still, like I said, like I still try to work on my skill each and every day. I try to make myself a better person that I am today. So there'll be a lot of days when I see, how do I don't know this skill, or how do I don't know how this works. This should have been the basics, right? So then I try to take it out from the scratch, learn it, and that's how we rule, that's how we work. We keep on improving ourselves, we keep upgrading our skills, and it's really a never ending process. It's never gonna
and
end.
that I can agree with. Same here also. We see, I mean, there's always people actually, who are freshers actually. I mean, it's a message to the freshers. When you see someone like successful, like have the, like they have a kind of skills that is shown to everyone, people think it's like take it for granted, they just have it. It's not like have it, like
Yeah.
you work hard to get it. That's the
Yes, yes,
point.
exactly.
People come and said,
Yep.
आपको तो पता है, you know it all. I'm like, how I know it? I had to study it, I had to try it out, I had to fail
Yes,
countless
exactly.
time. That's how I know it. People miss it.
Yes, yes, exactly. So yeah,
That's
no one aware about all those failures and
yes,
trials that we did on the back end, right? So there are two things of there are two ways of gaining the skill, of attaining a skill. Wh- The first one is, which is, I would not say it is the easier one, but it is fairly easier than the second one. So the first one is, you get in a project, and in that project your team was already implementing it. So you get a chance to learn that skill while you were working. So that's a simpler way to learn the skill. The other way, which is the hard way, is to learn by yourself. You implement the skill on your personal project, and then you retain the knowledge in some sort of artifact, or you just remember it for a long time. The second one is even harder to explain in the interview. Like,
yes,
how did you get this skill? First, you cannot just say, you cannot just treat this as a fake experience. You
yeah,
just don't do that. But then it becomes really hard to explain, how did you get that skill. You
exactly.
implemented on a personal project. What project was it? What were you trying to achieve? What did you do? And is there any GitHub repo of the same? All those things. So that's what I'm saying. And for people like us, we attain the skills through the second way most of the times, right?
Yes,
So it is even harder to get the skill, attain the skill, and to you know describe the skill, like how did we get it. So yeah, it is a hard job. There were a lot of failures, there were a lot of trials. Sometimes, when your code doesn't work, let's say a Terraform code that is not working, and you spend countless number of days in that,
yeah.
no one knows that. How much effort you had to put in to get a simple line of code working.
And that too, when companies putting pressure on you, get the solution done.
Yeah.
Like
Yes, yes,
PM is there, say, Sandeep,
yeah,
where's the update? Where is the update? Similar things happen, right? So we have to, like, we have to explain ourselves. Like, we are working hard on this, we are working this and that. So there are times, there are hard times that we go through. Like,
yeah.
everyone have their ups and downs, including me,
and
you, and
and and
anyone.
and,
Yeah,
and also, like, what are we sacrificing? Don't we want that at the end of the day, once our shift ends at 5 p.m., we spend the time watching TV, chilling in front of TV, or watching our favorite movie or sport, or but what we do, we spend some time with our family, and after that, during the night, we work on our personal projects, or do YouTube
yeah,
videos, or helping out the communities. So we are sacrificing our sleep as well, right? We are sacrificing
yeah.
everything to get the skill, to learn the skill, to share the knowledge with others. So yeah, it,
Exactly.
it just doesn't happen on its own. We have to put a lot of effort, we have to sacrifice a lot of things, we have to do a lot of compromises to achieve that and to reach at a certain level.
True. I mean, that's so one question from Guru actually. Apart from Udemy, what are the other resources for you to learn? Like, did you learn from other resources?
I just, because with AWS Community Builder, we got the subscription of Cloud Academy as well. So that's one way to go. Another is Udemy. And today, like I said, we are living in this digital era that we don't
Yes.
have to spend anything to learn anything, right?
Yes.
Everything
Very
is
true.
available uh, on YouTube, free of cost. You just have to know the right place to look the things for,
Yes.
right?
Searching
So
skill.
for me, first what I do is I get the basic idea. I take any YouTube video and get the basic idea about the skill, or a tool or a process. Then I try to implement it, then I try to create blogs around it, or create a YouTube video if I think that topic could help others as well, and it is really a nice skill to have. So that's the way to go. That's how I do.
Exactly. And I think we are reaching to end of the session. Again, one thing I will say, Piyush, what you're doing with YouTube videos, I was watching for a long time. You might not know how that kind of
Okay. You're watching.
person person who go and like and comment everywhere. I don't do that because I'm busy with my content, my jobs, my family,
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I do watch a lot of. I do also consume a lot of good quality content. Your content fall on that category, and
I'm really glad. I'm really glad.
so keep
Sandeep,
doing.
you
One,
probably don't know this, but like when you had around 9,000 follow sorry 9,000 subscriber in YouTube and
one.
around 20,000 followers in LinkedIn around 2 years back. I'm not really sure. So
Three, I
that
think.
time I started following you since that time. Okay, and I was really intrigued with the skills that you had, and when I looked at you, I thought, okay, I want to be like that guy. He is taking out time from his busy schedule and helping others, spending a lot of time in creating the content and then sharing it with others. That's really a selfless deed that he's doing, and I want to do that. So it not just you, there were few others creator as well, like Tech World with Nana,
Yes,
and
Nana.
then there were few others that I was following, but those were just on YouTube and they were not connected with the community. So you build a great community around you, and you help them on a personal level. So that's what I really liked, and that's what made me follow you. And then I followed your journey, then I started my channel, just because I was getting so much inspiration from watching your videos, the content that you were creating.
That's
So yeah,
great
I'm
to
really
hear.
glad I got this chance to had this amazing, wonderful session talking with you here. So
And
it's
the beauty of this kind of sessions, not scripted. We are open. We are like open to
yeah,
questions. Open to, like, if people like you're watching, you might not able to attend the session. I know it's weekend. People want to go out the family. Enjoy and all. So anyone like have any questions to use and on me, reach out to us on LinkedIn. Of course, we
yep,
we also we get busy sometime. But as soon as we see the messages, we try to reply. We try to reach out to the
yeah, yeah.
person.
We try our
So
best to
yeah.
reply like messages. Yes,
And see
definitely.
now, see if you like a guy with 60,000 followers, you have a message
Yeah,
frequency of around 200 per day. It's really hard, but you have to keep trying. Like, otherwise, it's not
yes.
easy for us to go to 200 and thousands of messages
Yeah,
to get.
and
Like,
also, guys, I would just like to mention this as well. Like when you reach out to someone over LinkedIn, just provide a little
yes,
context about what you are talking about. So yeah, like I said, like I only have around 4,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I get around 10-15 messages per day from different people. So I'm not even sure how much you will be getting with sitting at 60,000 followers. So I cannot even imagine.
yeah,
So
I'm
yeah,
just
so just be considerate about that,
yes.
guys, that the other person might be receiving 500 messages like yourself every day, and he has to take out around at
I
least
can
three,
help
4 hours from
three,
his
four.
schedule
Yeah.
just to reply those
Yeah.
messages. So just be considerate about that.
In views, it's a wonderful session. I know people will watch later on, and even they're watching right now. Also, I see around 80 people watching constantly. Again, thanks all the viewers for watching and keep commenting. There are a lot of comments. Unfortunately, I cannot show the LinkedIn one. Awesome comments going on. I will try to or maybe Piyush later on check the messages
Yeah,
to
sure, sure.
reply
Definitely,
to
I'll
personal
also have a
level.
look and
Fine.
try to reply.
And you guys can reach out to Piyush directly in LinkedIn. He have like open LinkedIn profile, so anyone can just reach him.
Yes, yes,
And
yes, sure. At any time, you can reach out to
and
me,
he
and
he
I'll
has
also try to.
whatever channel description. I mean channel link. I think I mentioned in the description section. If you didn't
Yeah, yes, you
subscribe yet,
did. You did in the event invite. Yes.
then people do subscribe the channel. He does great work around cloud and DevOps, and I think he might start the programming someday as well.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. It really means a lot. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No issues. Okay,
And
have
it
a great
was
day
really
then.
nice talking to you.
Same here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just saying, as soon as the video done, I mean our session done, I'm gonna play with my daughter. I think you're going to do the same thing.
Yeah,
They're waiting. They're
that's
waiting for us. So guys, have a nice weekend. We are on journey to play with our daughters. So bye and have a great
right.
holiday.
Take care,
Yeah.
guys.
Yes.
Have a
Yeah.
good weekend.
Bye.